What is up, everyone? Hey, how's it going? Hey, hi, how are ya? Welcome to another episode of Weeknights. This is just a little bit of content brought to you by the Knights at the Nerd Table. I'm Nate. I'll be your host for this evening. Weeknights is a quick rundown of some of the fun, nerdy things you might have missed in the past week-ish. If you like this kind of content, then please check out our full-length episodes, podcast episodes, or podcast episodes, whichever you prefer, of Knights at the Nerd Table, wherever you can find or listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it. You can also find us other places, including, but not limited to, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and last but not least, right on Patreon.com, with the exception of a few for-flavor items. All of our additional content on Patreon is available no matter what tier you subscribe to, and that starts as low as $2 for a monthly sub. Your support helps us keep making content and possibly more importantly gives us reasons to tell our wives why we can't go out on dates and stuff, because we have to talk for hours about like Pokemon and nerdy things like that. Anyways, there are a few, obviously that's not true, there are a few fun nerdy things you might have missed in the past week-ish, so let's get into some of the good stuff. If you're in the chat, hey, hi, how are ya? Glad you're here. Let's bust through some of the obvious stuff, as always, even though we don't try to be a Magic the Gathering podcast. We always find a way to talk about them. This is actually pretty cool, though. We've got some more MTG content for you. This time, not necessarily with new cards, however, but actually an entire new playstyle format. Oathbreaker is now an official MTG playstyle with a few familiar rules, very similar to Commander, or maybe if you play Brawl in Arena, some of these things might be familiar to you. It's a 60-card singleton format with a twist, sort of like Commander. Use a Planeswalker instead of legendary creatures. Now, there are cards that say this card can be your commander. From what I can tell, from what I've been seeing, those can be your Oathbreaker in this series, in this format as well. You also have access to a signature spell. This is either an instant or a sorcery that sits in your command zone, and you cast it when you cast it multiple times. As when it resolves, it goes back to your command zone and you can replay it. Again, for standard command zone tax of an extra 2 mana every time you cast it comes from the command zone. So, here are a few more details. You start with 20 life. It's recommended to be a 3 to 5 player format. Again, 60 card singleton, and command tax applies to both your Planeswalker and your signature spell separately, so you have to keep track of those separately. There is a ban list, so you might want to look into that before building your first Oathbreaker deck. A lot of the ramp stuff you'll notice might be missing from that as well. A couple other things you might have missed. Shazam 2 released over the weekend, so if you're still craving some more superhero film stuff from the DCU, you can go there and get your movie fix. It's another good time to be at the movies. Even if you care to know, if you don't, the movie currently has a 53%-ish Rotten Tomato score and is a 6.7 out of 10 in the IMDb. So the movie focuses a little bit more not just on Shazam himself, but also his siblings, who also carry some superhuman abilities, superpowers with them as well. So it's not just a single character, it's kind of a little bit more of a family dynamic as well. Another thing you might want to know that you might have missed, you can now take a look at some of the class updates that 1D&D is play testing for Druids and Paladins. So if you're a Druid or Paladin main, head on over to D&D Beyond, find their playtesting page to download a full PDF version of the two classes. One major proposed update in this would be Druids playing with Druid's Wild Shape ability. I kind of read through it, I glanced through it, didn't give it a deep detail dive, but from what I can tell, it looks super cool and really opens a lot of doors for role-playing and mechanics. Give some structure to mechanics. However, it does seem to shut a few doors that would just like allow you to turn into a potentially overpowered animal for the scenario, and any other animal you just find in a book. But the point of playtesting this is people like you and me, we take a look at it, we maybe build a character, we play through a one-shot, we give feedback on it, and then we submit our survey on it. That's the whole point of this. So if you're already upsetty spaghetti that we're messing, you can mess with your paladin main or your druid main, go do the thing, follow the process, and submit all of your grievances and woes. A few other tweaks in this PDF, including some light weapon updates, a few condition updates, and rogues. Looks like if some of this goes through, you actually need to hide behind something in order to hide. Makes sense, right? To me, it kind of makes sense. Also, help actions, many more things, little tweaks in there for you to read through and decide if you like them or hate them or give feedback on. Honestly, there's tons of stuff in that PDF, so please go over and take a look. You can find that at dndbeyond.com. Scroll down to the bottom, you should be able to see an icon that has playtesting options on it. Click on that, and it'll give you that. Not only that, but some of their other playtest PDFs you should be able to find there as well. So we report the news, and sometimes the news kind of sucks. Some downer news here this week. Lance Reddick passed away at the age of 60. It looks like it is of natural causes. He's voiced several roles known to the nerdy community over the years, and you have maybe heard him he is Commander Zavala in Destiny franchise since 2014. And this is just one of his many contributions to the nerd community. He's had roles in John Wick, anime series, and even more recently, if you're a big D&D fan, he was the voice of Thordak, in the dragon in the Legend of Bach Machina. And again, these are just a few of the roles on his resume. He is absolutely all over the place if you really start Googling around to figure out what he's been in recently. Within this game and within Destiny players actually honored his passing or gave tribute to him as the voice by in-game gathering at the tower, paying respects, some even just spending hours honoring the role that he played in a favorite game of theirs. His presence will be missed by many, and many nerds and non-nerd actors alike took to places like Twitter to express their grievance and show love and support for his loved ones in that moment and pay tribute to him in that way. So that is unfortunate, but it is something that happened, so I thought you should know about it. Moving through some of these other things, bookending here with MTG, a signed copy of Black Lotus sold over the weekend for $54,000. Yes, that is correct. That's not correct. It's $540,000. Quite a big. Please say no. I'm not gonna do that. Signed copy, $540,000. Yeah, comes after Big Buzz created over the One Ring card, which some have speculated will also be a very expensive card. No one knows what the price tag is going to be on that. I was thinking, man, if you could get that card signed by the original artist, that could be, your mortgage, your whatever you want it to be. So, unfortunately, it wasn't me who either bought or sold the cards. So, if you like the content, head on over to patreon.com, subscribe there. You can find us there and anywhere else, including but not limited to Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and last but not least, patreon.com. Oh, what's up, Blus Bandit? I'll say hey to you. Glad you're here. Glad you're following, so you're welcome. So this has been an episode of Weeknights, and until we see you at the table again next time, good night, nerds. Have a good one.